because I was about to just unnecessarily drop an F-bomb. I cannot stand networking as a concept that was the concept in business school and in school. And I can't stand the word. And I don't really want to talk about it in the sense that we're used to because I hate it too. I don't like going up to random people and trying to talk to them about stuff. Hello, everybody out there in podcast land, and hello to you, Katie, my co-host.
Hello.
This is Level Up, and this is closing in on episode 200, but not quite there. So it's anticlimactic, and we're just going to talk about stuff. But hey, you're actually more pissed than me right now, but I am a little, for a totally different reason. I just got a wrap from Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
And you ever buy something and then eat it and it catches you off guard because it's not what you thought you ordered?
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say like it was like rotten or something.
No, it wasn't rotten, but I accidentally ordered the habanero version of something and scarfed
Ooh.
the thing down and it like burned a hole in my throat. So I think actually because of the last 10 to 15 minutes of you being pissed off at things that delayed the start of recording this podcast, it actually bought me my voice back. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. You know that Seinfeld episode where like somebody's like under like a really awkward light? Like I think it was like Jerry's girlfriend is under like this light and makes her look like a monster. You remember that episode?
Yeah, it does something to her face. Why do you think you look like a monster right now? Or are you talking about me? I know you're
Not
under
the
awkward
sun.
light.
Okay, like it's so hot in my office right now. The sun is like half across my face. So go over to YouTube and check it out. But I feel like I'm in this like weird light where, yeah, it's kind
Adjust
of
where you're
making me
sitting
look weird.
slightly. You could
I can
adjust where you're
just
sitting. No,
put it
that's not going to
no.
work. No.
It's like it's got to be so specific.
Why don't you
Got to be
move
like
to like
here.
your left?
This way?
Just turn the camera.
No, I will. Okay. Let's see what I can
Like
do here.
drifting out of the screen. There you go.
No, but I'm
Okay,
still in the sun. It's so weird.
well, this is the
Okay, wait.
sad
There. There we
upper
go.
crust life you live of being the one who decided to take the
Mm.
office with a window. I really fail to feel sympathy for you every time you have temperature and brightness woes in your office because
Your
I am in a crypt
your
right now.
grandma's calling me right now.
Okay. That's good. The world can know that. That's random, huh? You know what? You know you've got a good in-law relationship when your husband's grandmother chooses to call you instead of her grandson.
Well, it might be your mom because your mom is there right now. So
It's true.
could
Let's
be
just
either or.
let's just tell the world what's going on. What else is happening with them right now? What'd they get at the grocery store this morning?
I don't know. I could answer the phone and
You
ask,
could
but
answer the phone and you'd know, but nonetheless. Are you better
mm-mm.
now or are you still melting slowly from the top down?
I'm okay. I'm also very hot over the ridiculousness of trying to book showings, especially for leases. It's like I was so happy with myself last night. I had 8 showings I'm doing tomorrow. Book them. No conflicts. Everything's great. And
Mapped out.
slowly over the past 24 hours, I've received cancellations because a bunch of them have leased. So now I was down to like 4. And then my lovely client has sent me about 8 more that we could see. So trying to book those and coordinate. And then like you book everything and you're at the last one. And all of a sudden you realize you can't book for that time. It's just, I don't know. It's so stressful sometimes.
The
That's my
whole,
rant.
yes, the coordination of the showing
That's got to be some sort of
calendar.
like,
What, some sort of like an AI? There's
yeah, there's got to
optimizers.
be.
There's also virtual assistants and assistants who sometimes do this to allow
That
you to
is
focus
true.
on revenue building activities,
Good
podcast
point.
recording.
Good
But
point.
that's
Good.
another episode for another day.
That is true.
But I do think that I don't know. I was complaining to you this morning about other issues I've got with the um, just the leasing environment in general. And I don't want to generalize because I know that this happens when you're booking showings for purchases as well. But I don't know. I know it's not everybody, but there seems to be a little less attention to detail And I
Mm,
question if half of the ones you booked were already leased and just not marked that way when you booked
maybe.
them, which is frustrating
It
because it's
is
strange.
possible.
It's strange that
Yeah.
it's not strange just that places go very quickly, but it's strange that last night you booked them and breakfast time they're gone.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Anyway, we
But all
all
that being said,
understand.
I wish congratulations to the landlords who did move their place, and I wish good luck to those who you are about to see, and one might be the lucky recipient of the tenant
It's true.
family that you are
It's
taking to
true.
see them. So,
That is true. All right. Enough
well, there you
ranting and
go.
raving. No, that
Did you
doesn't
say
connect.
rating with a T?
Raving. No.
Right. Well, yeah, it's ranting and raving, but that's more like in support of something. We're
You
really
know, I
just
was gonna
ranting. There's
say,
not
I'm not, yeah, there's no raving. There's just
we
ranting.
yeah, we can rave a bit now because we're talking about a positive thing. We are talking
Always do.
today about the people we want to talk to and the relationships we build and the magical art form that is networking, the forgotten science of many
That's right.
people. And confession, you probably
Forgot.
know this, but to those who don't, um, well, you do know we went to school together, obviously, but we went to business school. And in business school, networking is the buzzword, I want to say, for people who are there. You need to network, you need to network. And there is nothing I hated more
Hmm.
than the word, the concept, and everything that went with it, because it just felt at the time, because it was what everybody talked about. And I guess because of the way that I saw it happening, it
Yeah.
was just gross. The whole concept of it was gross. It was like feeding frenzy of fake discussion. I almost found a fourth F to go with that alliteration there, but it wasn't fake in most cases, and I think it was a necessary, not even evil, but a necessary function of learning how to communicate with people and get yourself out there. I just couldn't stand the whole concept of being told you need to meet with people who are like in a huddle of a bunch of hungry people looking to talk to them.
Well, and I think the whole reason for not the whole reason, but a lot of the reason for doing that in that setting was to get a job or
Right.
to, yeah, get what you want in that sense. So it felt really uncomfortable and you felt very fake doing it. So
And it wasn't taught, and I'm sure it is now. It wasn't taught. It was that the lesson was you need to network. The lesson wasn't, hey, understand why other people are where they are, why you're where you are, how to engage in a useful dialogue, the give and take of it, the positive that can come from it, and the negative that you don't need to worry about if it doesn't go the way you wanted. Um, and so, full circle, here we are. And I couldn't be more supportive of the concept of networking and how valuable it is to your business, especially, but even in day to day life, just your ability to build relationships. And that's really what networking is. And that's what we're going to talk about today. That's my preamble about the actual topic, not about habanero wraps or booking showings. Over to you.
oh, why, thank you. Yeah, so I think the main idea that we want to get across, or at least the main idea I'd like to get across, I haven't really discussed this with you, but is the fact that, yeah, your typical or traditional idea of networking isn't necessarily the only option for you as you grow your real estate career. It's really finding those opportunities where you enjoy doing things and, and that applies to your life and it doesn't have to be necessarily specifically real estate. It can be in different formats, whether you have kids that are a part of a hockey team and, you can kind of take an opportunity there. But just as you said, it's building relationships and starting to learn about other people and they learn about you as a result. And the more, like in my own experience, the more you show your face and talk to things and be supportive of different things in your life, the more you'll get recognized and get referrals as a result. So it's
Mm.
all kind of what you make of it, and kind of what makes more sense for you and what you're up to in your daily life.
Right. So, well, you touched at the beginning on, you do what makes you comfortable and excited, and you do the things that are more in the wheelhouse that you're in. And we talk about that a lot with the type of person you are, the type of salesperson you are. Networker is, in fact, for those who have been following from home for the last 4 years, networker is one of those 4 archetypes that we
Mm,
identify that you could be at your core. And I think we've drilled home the message that you do want to follow the types of activities that support the type of person you are. But I'm going to put a big asterisk on that for this episode, because just because you're not someone who is a networker by nature does not mean that networking is something to stay away from or even something to keep out of your strategy. I think there's an
mm,
element of this that needs to be part of how you do business. And to your point, there's ways and mechanisms to network that maybe go beyond conventional things that we can talk about as well, because it's important to cover, I guess, what a lot of people do.
yeah.
But also ways, if you're sitting out there and you're kind of the mindset that I opened with, where networking is just something that feels either icky to you or uncomfortable, or it's just not the type of person you are, we're also going to cover, you're making another adjustment, step into the light. Oh, there you go. I don't know that this is changing. Like the sunlight is on the same side of you and it continues to light half of your face. It's all good.
Trying quietly.
I'm drawing attention to it. Hey, we talked about my grandmother calling you. We're going everywhere. This is the behind the music of what's happening in real time. So yeah, anyway, I do want to talk a bit about the benefits, which maybe are obvious, maybe are not, maybe things people haven't thought about of networking in general. And then hopefully we can dive into, originally I think we had said we were going to make this a top 10 listy. There's the habanero. A top 10 listy type episode of here are the top 10 places you should network. I think it might be better to just jump in and say, here's a bunch of ideas for how you can do this and why they might be beneficial to you.
Mhm. Yeah. So, I mean, let's first talk about maybe the more traditional aspects, or ones that you could think of, and that's more, whether you're putting together your own real estate event or you are part of another maybe chamber of commerce type meeting where you're just meeting with people and talking about what you do and that kind of thing. Like, I think that's more like direct to people in terms of like exactly what you do from a real estate perspective. So those are the ones that I kind of consider the traditional networking that we're maybe not big fans of.
Well, I feel like I'm going to keep cutting you off, and I apologize, but I think there's a big distinction between even those things. Like, yeah, they're both the same type of networking,
mm,
but the nature of what those are really different ideas that might engage different people, right? Like if you're
right.
talking about a real estate event, you're in a place among people who are like-minded and people who are in your industry. A real estate event might be you among other realtors. The nature of why you might be networking comes with a different goal and reason attached to it than if you're in, like you said, a chamber of commerce where you might be meeting with other business leaders. In both cases, part of the goal might be learning more about how you do your job. In
Hmm.
one case, it might be more about trying to build a client base. In another case, it might be about trying to build a referral base,
Yeah.
right? And so the objective is obviously tied to your audience. I think the nature of different events where it is a large group of people gathered to meet other people, yeah, it's the same sort of idea. But because of the motivations of the people, wherever you might be, you will very likely not only have a different approach, but a different reason you're there. And the way you talk to people and the reason that you're doing it is going to be very different. And it might make you more or less comfortable also. Like if I'm at a real estate event, I'm way more comfortable talking to, going up to, looking for people to talk about common interests because we're all there not as competitors as much as we are as colleagues and supporting each other to be better at what we do. And you can take that same approach to other events, but I still don't, I haven't cracked that code the same way when I'm among those who aren't the same as me.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think, more of those. I'm trying to think of what they're called, not now, like, like the
There's
Breakfast Club type things. Like I remember going to one of those
like speaker
back.
series type things or
No, like,
masterminds.
well, it's kind of like you get together with a bunch of people in your area that are in different sections. It's like not breakfast
Okay,
club,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. Like they're basically like chamber type meetings. They're usually sponsored by chambers where it's people who are like representative of
yeah,
different industries who
right.
can
Yeah.
it's
So
like a shared network where you're all trying to build
yeah,
each other's kind of book
which
of
is
refer business.
yeah, which is, I think, good, especially if you're starting out. I think if you're able to network with maybe like a lawyer and a mortgage broker and people like that, that you can support each other's businesses, or even more beyond that, like insurance and whatever it might be. But I'm just thinking to the one I went to, it was just a bunch of people that were not of the same mindset, like they had been around for a very long time. There was established people there already. And I just didn't see the opportunity. And I wasn't able to really connect with the people that were there because I didn't have shared interests with them. So I think the point is it goes beyond, you know, just you're wanting to maybe get business or build your business off of these relationships to, you really obviously need to have further connections with these individuals in order to really make the most of it and to show, like, really highlight who you are. Cause I was just sitting there and like feeling like anything I said really wasn't going to impact anybody at the end of the day or wasn't really helpful. So it was just one of those scenarios where I realized it wasn't for me. And I think, it's good to pick and choose and try things out, but there's so many iterations, I think, of all of these different avenues and ideas. So it's really about discovering what makes sense for you and what you can have longevity with.
This is going to be shockingly exactly along the lines of everything else we talk about, where you need to know where your focus is, what you're trying to accomplish, and also know why you're targeting what you're targeting. Who are you looking to connect with? What are you looking to gain for yourself? And are the places or things that you're participating in going to serve that? So there's work involved. And I think this is where a lot of networkers fall short. And people will argue the opposite of what I'm saying. People will argue, I go everywhere and talk to everybody, and that serves me best. And for them, that's probably true because it's basically the equivalent of casting a wide net and you talk to
Mm.
enough people and something's going to hit. For me, in a world where, I mean, everyone we talk to now, we were talking about this earlier, everyone's talking about how busy they are, everyone's talking about how they have no time. Yes, one element of networking is ensuring that you don't make light of any relationship you have during the day. It's not just about going to events, but
Mm.
if you are going to actively try to meet people in a forum designed for that, know what the types of people are who are there, know why they are there, determine how you are able to provide value to them that they'd be looking for, and whether or not what they are there for and what they could offer and reciprocate is going to make sense for what your objectives are as well. Because that's where you have a useful conversation instead of it being I'm somewhere and I just want to find clients, but that's it. Right. Like, but everyone there is looking to find clients. Like that doesn't serve me well unless there's a middle ground or a way that you approach the situation by saying, hey, where can we work together? If that's what the goal of that is. Um, and when you go in with a me attitude to networking, you're going to come out of it with nothing, I think. It needs to be the same way we talk about marketing, where you need to understand the value you provide and understand where discussion and getting to know somebody better is going to allow you to unlock something you can offer and make the conversation worthwhile for them.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, the more I think about it, the more I hate networking in general.
I hate it too. I know I do.
I'm just trying to think like of ideas and like, as we go through this, because, you know, it's not really networking, the things that I enjoy doing. I mean, eventually it just leads to relationships, but I wouldn't call it networking in,
Right.
in the traditional sense. And I don't know if this could be a spin-off of networking, but for example, our parent council at the school, like of our kids' school, like you start to build relationships there. And like everybody follows me on Instagram, they know what I do. Has it resulted in business at this point? No, but it's that awareness piece. And it's not like I'm going in there to each meeting and like spewing off real estate facts or trying to get clients. So it's a much more natural approach, but I guess I just wouldn't call that networking, and maybe just networking in general
Okay,
sucks.
so let's then go back to how I was originally thinking we were going to start this conversation, which is talking about the concept of networking before we get into all the places we can go. And I know you just rolled your eyes thinking, "Oh shit, we're at the beginning of the episode again, and we've made it so far." But
No, no, I'm not rolling my eyes at all. I'm probably just
um,
squinting because I'm
that's
in the
just the
sun.
sunlight in your face that you're
Mm.
trying feverishly to get away from. But you said I don't think this is networking or whatever. I wouldn't call this networking. I mean, I think what you just described, what you just described was on my top 10 list of places and things to network
So
with.
you would consider that networking?
100%. To me,
Yeah.
networking, too many people think networking is selling. I think that's the distinction that we need to, at least for my, because I was about to just unnecessarily drop an F bomb. I cannot stand networking as a concept that was the concept in business school and in school. And I can't stand the word. And I don't really want to talk about it in the sense that we're used to because I hate it too. I don't like going up to random people and trying to talk to them about stuff because
Yeah.
that's what something's designed to do. Networking is it's your ability to grow a relationship with somebody. It's more about giving than about taking. And it's we talk about this all the time. Networking is going into a situation or an environment where you're able to provide value, and over time, maybe it comes back to you, right? So
Yeah, well, no, I'm just thinking, yeah, there's some people out there though that see networking or use networking as more of an immediate business
for sure.
opportunity.
And I think
Um,
they're wrong, but I know that it works for some people. But to me, that's not effective networking. That's just a captive audience you're selling to. Like that,
mm,
and maybe that's networking to some people, but to me, what you said, being on a parent council, volunteering somewhere, you know, just being friendly and getting to know people, first of all, that builds your database, that builds your network. That's why it's networking. It's just building your sphere of people that down the road, the next time you talk to them, you know a little bit more. The next time you talk to them, you know a little bit more. They over time start to know a little bit more about you.
mhm,
And it's not, and also the other side of that is it's not always about, I want business, right? I mean,
yeah.
I know that that's kind of the context we're talking about, but a lot of the networking we do and a lot of the most effective networking you and I have done has been the people we've met along the way who have given us insight into things and taught us things and ways to fix or grow our business or given us ideas we didn't have before. All the people we've had on this podcast are people
Yeah.
we've either networked with before and realized that they had a lot of nuggets to drop, or that was the first time we ever talked to them. And that was in effect, yeah, it was an interview, but
Mhm,
that grew our network to people who are now useful resources for us. And hopefully we're useful resources for them down the road.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm even thinking back to our local business interviews. I mean, again, not necessarily complete networking, but that relationship that we've built, like we still have relationships to this day with those individuals, and we try to support each other's businesses. So,
Well,
yeah,
look,
it's
look at our chiropractor, right? Or my chiropractor. Maybe he'll be yours one day. But like that is the perfect example of somebody. We interviewed him as a community, what you're saying, the business
yeah.
relationship. And that was years ago. That was pre-COVID.
Mhm,
I give him business now as a chiropractor I trust and go to. He supported, you and us and the kids' school with a fun fair and was a sponsor of that because of the relationship and wanted nothing in return,
mm,
right? He's someone I can call and talk to now, as as just a friend basically. And
yeah.
this was just because of a conversation. So it is all like anything that grows your network by one
Everything is
person.
networking.
Well, if you're adding a new relationship to your life, you've networked, period, to me.
Yeah, yeah, it's
And
true.
so, and the benefits just go beyond maybe like obviously, end goal in our industry is hopefully I get a sale out of this, or hopefully they know somebody, which in effect grows the network even further if you can get referrals out of it. But if not, It's just more people who everyone's got something. I shouldn't say that. There's probably people out there who I'd rather have never spoken to, but it is what it is. I think if you're not talking to people, somebody else is. And that's the same as the marketing message we put out there. You can't just wait for things to come to you because that's not what everybody else is doing in this industry.
Agreed. Yeah.
So I mean, I thought you were gonna look like you were going somewhere with that, but I mean, this is where I guess when I said even if you're not a networker and the way you are as a person is not that, it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do to hide behind social media 100% of the time, put things out there by yourself and expect that the business will come. It may, but we spoke to Jaden last week and her primary mechanism to market herself is through social media. However, she also made it clear that building her network and communicating with every single person who interacts with her there is vital to the growth of her business. It's not just about seeing what comes in and hopefully it's business. It's about going out, finding other people to interact with, right? Networking doesn't have to be showing up at a conference center in a suit, holding, a gin and tonic and looking for people to give your business card to. Can't do it. Hate it.
Gin
Sucks.
and tonic, baby.
I mean, at least the gin and tonic is good.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't, I mean, and this is bad, but I don't even care. I haven't carried a business card on me. And this is not recommended, but I haven't had a business card on me in a long time, like a
Yeah.
long
Well,
time.
people can find you other ways for sure these days, follow
Yes.
you on Instagram or whatever. And
Yeah.
then
Follow
you're
me on
in their
Instagram, everybody.
network.
Follow all of us on Instagram.
Hmm.
I was gonna plug you there, but I forget. Is there a period in yours? Is it at
There is a period at Katie.Steinfeld.
it's you?
Follow us.
Yeah.
Um,
Follow us. I'm at
but
Steinfeld Says. Do it. And
there
follow
you
this
go. Of
podcast, which you already are at
course.
Level Up for Realtors.
Hmm.
But all of that is still indirect networking, but useful. And again, it's if you've got a goal and you've got something you're trying to accomplish, chances are it will be made easier by building additional relationships to help you get there. Maybe that's a better way to put this at a really high level. If you're
Hmm.
trying to improve in your business, there's people who can help you. If you're trying to do more business, you need people to do business with. If you're looking for better resources, they're out there. If you're at a speed bump and you need answers to questions, like all of these things don't come as easily when you're at it by yourself. That is why you need to build more relationships and continue to leverage them.
Hmm. Yeah.
Know your own value because that's where it becomes easier. When you can value what you bring to the table, it makes all of your own conversations with other people better because you don't approach these conversations from a position of neediness or what can you do for me? It's the opposite. And that
Hmm.
always without fail will result in a better outcome for you.
Yeah, exactly. Agreed.
So I mean, we covered a lot of like sort of, I think most of the different angles of how and where you can network. There's the traditional stuff you talked about, um, like a parent council, like community engagement, things like that. It's really take a look at your day to day. What do you do every day? Where do you see people? Where can you create opportunities to see more people in your own business? Are there ways to build things that can have networking opportunities? Right?
Especially if you're, as an agent, you're alone a lot to build your business, and the more opportunities you can build into your days to connect with people, the better. You end up feeling like you've had more momentum in your day, that way, versus staying on your computer all day and trying to figure out what's the next post you're going to put up there. Like, you have to have that balance, I think, and networking with one person or a few people, is a great way, to just put yourself out there and just get more confident talking about things and talking to people, because it is a skill. It doesn't just come naturally for a lot of people. So I think that's why a lot of people shy away from it. But I know a lot of our agents are doing a lot of great things in that space when it comes to their own, different demographics and kind of bringing people together that, maybe come from different countries and that, they just want to have a forum to connect with people that are of like mind and things like that. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. It's just a matter of finding the one that really speaks to you and you really enjoy and you want to make the most of.
Absolutely. I mean, I was envious of my late great grandfather, who is to me the greatest networker of all time. He
Mm,
was just that guy who it didn't matter. And everyone has somebody like this. They're probably all your grandparents, everyone who's listening out there. If you had somebody outgoing in your life, but it didn't matter where we were, he would talk to everybody.
yeah.
And he was just unfazed. And it wasn't because he wanted something, it was just because, you know what? Making people happy and having conversation really has no downside. Like you said, we're in a lonely business. The more people you can connect with, no, they're not all going to be good relationships, whether it's potential clients or colleagues or whatever. But I'd rather have, 10 conversations and one lifelong relationship than never had a conversation at all. And
Yeah.
that to me, I mean, I'm happy to scrap the word. You were saying there's got to be a better word for it. I'm happy to scrap the word networking. I don't like it. I mean, yeah, we're building our network, but it's really just build relationships,
Yeah.
get to know people, and don't feel icky doing it because it's not coming from a place of ickiness.
It's not transactional. It's people. That's that's what that's who we're trying to connect with. So,
Right.
and then going into it like that will just always make you look a lot more natural and relaxed and, not so desperate for business, which I think a lot of people can sense these days. It's not as hard. It's not as easy to, mask that. A lot of
Right.
people can catch on to your ways.
Well, and I mean, the more I think about it as we talk about it, like we have these four types of salesperson that's out there: prospector, converter, networker, and marketer are the four. And we separate them in different ways and definitely have a listen, and it's all very relevant. But when you break it down, regardless of what we call it, they're all just different ways to network,
Mm,
right? Like prospecting, if that's more of a cold call avenue where you're going to go out and meet more people who aren't yet ready to interact with you and you really want to go out and just meet, that's still networking, right? We've positioned networking as a traditional, you like going and being around people and connecting with them in sort of a lukewarm environment where everybody wants to be there. But ultimately, that's just one element. Like that's the kind of the traditional, what people are used to, networking, event networking. But if you're door knocking, you're networking, especially if you're coming at it from a place where we're talking about, where it's not going places and saying, hey, do you want to sell a house? If you're just going to introduce yourself and offer some value, well, hey, you've probably grown your network. Someone knows who you are now who didn't before. And whether they want to deal with you or not, it doesn't matter. That's still your goal, is to try to build as many relationships as possible that are going to be beneficial to you and the person you're talking to.
mm. Yeah,
And that's all I have to say about that. I'm done. I'm going to go out and meet some people. We're going to an event tonight,
it's true.
but we're
Out of our
going,
comfort zone.
well, we're going among enough people that I feel like, I mean, I'm still going to be that guy who's not going and shaking hands at people. So, do as I say, not as I do. But don't be afraid to have conversations with people for the sake of meeting more people.
Yeah. Yo.
Right.
All
Well,
right.
with that,
Thanks for listening, everyone.
yeah,
Nice to see your face.
you're very soft talking right now. I feel like I've been more aggressive with my volume. I'm just gonna bring it
Mm,
down a couple notches.
I'm melting slowly.
I know. It's okay. Your faces look the same in all light, only brighter in some.
It's true. I
Although I
can't
can
get
tell the
away.
sun is slowly going down because more of your face is bright now, so it's more in
Yeah,
line with the window.
it's true.
I, on the other hand, I'm very comfortable with the
Yeah.
temperature in here and the lighting. So if ever you want to trade offices, you just let me know.
Will do.
All right.
Maybe now. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye bye.
Level up, level up, level up.